Hi, everyone. Okay, there it is. Hey, Arlene. Let's see if it's up yet. Not yet. I'm waiting. Oh, the drag. The lag. The drag. What was I saying? The lag. Okay, there we go. Hi, Arlene. The lag is terrible. I was waiting for it to pop up on my other device so I could. And then I have the volume on. Okay, there. I may have it done yet. You think I'd never done this before. So, tonight I got some new watercolors and a new palette. And these watercolors come in a tube. So I'm going to put them in a palette. Hi, Pam. I'm going to put them in a palette. And people have asked me before how you do this and what's the process. I'm going to show you how I do it. Everyone has like their own way of doing it. So I'm not saying my way is the right way. You do it however you want. I'm just showing you how I'm doing it. So these are I got it on the back right. Yeah. These are La Petite Aquarelles. So they're the student line of Sennelier paints. Sennelier is out of France, but their student line is comparable to a lot of professional lines. So I had never tried this line by them, and Lindsay Wyrick, the Frugal Crafter. This was one of the sets she recommended if you could get it for around $30, and it's currently on sale for $30 and I think 89 cents. There is a link in the description. I'm not an affiliate, but I just thought I'd help you guys out. So this is it. This is what the box looks like. I already unboxed it because I'm horrible at that. It takes me hours. So here's the palette. Ooh, we're blinding me. Okay, there. So it says the Sennelier on it, and then it has, and I've been working all day, so my hands are probably dirty. It has their logo. And this palette is like uber thick. This is not, and it's heavy. This is not like a palette that you would take out and travel with. So there we go. This is what it looks like inside. It has, the outside's cream. The inside's white, and you could put the paints in each of these and then mix your colors up there. My problem with that is Sennelier is a more liquidy. It never quite dries. Hi, Michelle. And so if you put it back down like this, the paint might leak down into the tube. So I'm not going to do that. I bought a new empty watercolor palette. And this is the box it comes in. It's just a plain one. And I got the full pans because I only needed it to hold, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13. No, there's 12. And this holds 12 full pans or 24 half pans, and I'll show you the difference. But I got it because it was a pretty palette. It wasn't black. I did put a link to this one. It's like $13.99, but they don't have this long version, and right now it's sold out. But they have other choices in it. And when you open up, it's just a typical palette. You open it up, there you can mix stuff, and you can and then it has the pan. So these are what a full pan looks like. So, and they're empty. They come empty if you buy it this way. I do have a Sennelier palette that's black. And then I got 2 sets of Sennelier, so these are different sets. But when you come, let me see, is there one that I haven't used yet? Probably the black here. So when they come, if they're not in pans, they come in these, and this is a half pan. So it's exactly 2 of these. And then now oh crap, something was wet. Oh, I know what that was. So this is a half pan, so it's 2 of those. And then they have mini pans. And I've got some of those on order, and I can't wait to show you. So these come, and then I always write the name of them on the front, and I write it up high so you can see it when you're looking down this way. You can kind of see what it is. And then Sennelier is really nice because they put their paint number on it for you. And so that's all you have to do. Now, see why I'm a mess? This is it. I don't think I have, and I would wipe it on my jeans because it's watercolor, But I can tell you, this is watercolor people. I can tell you from experience that watercolor, especially the good watercolors, like I use the professional sets and even the student grades, they will not wash out. I have a pair of jeans on that has green watercolor on them. And then I had a pair that I'd probably had for 10 years and I wiped yellow on it and the yellow never came out. So everyone makes fun of me. Some itty bitty pans with paint in them, but they're loose in a box. What do you do with them? If they're loose, you can get, oh, I didn't bring that. You can get like an Altoid can, you know, an empty Altoid tin, and just put a little bit of, none of these have the stickies on the bottom. Just buy a magnet that's got sticky on one side, or, and you can use that and they'll be held in a magnet, or you can use these glue dots. These I got from the dollar store, I believe. And you can put glue dots on the bottom and then they won't rattle around. And you can use any tin. I have pencil tins that they sell at the Dollar Tree that I put my stuff in. I have when you buy colored pencils or graphite and stuff occasionally, you can you get them in a tin and then you take the pencils out and then you just have a tin. So you can put them in that. So yeah, you could do that. The mini pans are what I'm getting some of those. Those are newer to be sold to like the general public. So you're wondering what I stuck my hand in, I bet. So you could take this out and I will. But I had started this afternoon because I was all excited. And I put the white in. Now, traditionally watercolor artists, masters as such, they don't use white watercolor. The white for watercolors is, since it's transparent, is supposed to be the paper. Now, and you can use white watercolor. I would tell you buy gouache, which is a type of watercolor, but it's made to be opaque or semi-transparent. It's better than buying watercolor white. Watercolor white will make everything look chalky. But I put it in the pan so you can see the pan's full. And I stuck my hand in that, and it's still pretty dry on top. But they're not labeled, so I'll label this one. And I'll show you that. So I'm going to pop all of these out. And these are just held in by the metal clips. So they'll pop out fairly easy. Sometimes you get one of these pans and they're like really difficult to get out. You just bend these. It's metal. You can bend it back and it won't break. It's meant to be bent a little. You don't want to bend it back and forth a lot, but you can do it some. So then I put that back down in there. Hi, Cindy. Yeah, magnets. I'm sorry I don't have a palette here that has stuff in magnets. I was going to bring it in, but I really didn't know if anybody'd even show up, but I knew I was going to do it tonight no matter what. So that's neither here nor there, I guess. So what I'm going to do is I've already done the white. And when you get any paint that's in a palette, they don't arrange it in rainbow order. Somebody asked me about this once. They arrange it from the lightest color to the darkest color. Now, the reason they do that, especially in watercolor, is because you paint from lightest to darkest, because you will never be able to make something lighter unless you're using mixed media like gouache or whatever. Hi, Beth. How are you? Long time no see. So that's why it comes this way. I will put it in the pan this way. And then after they dry, I will probably go back and I don't know. I'm used to my watercolor palettes being like this, but sometimes I'll go back and rearrange them in rainbow order. But I've been doing watercolor since I was a child. So even the palettes you get that are like Prang or Crayola or whatever, they come lightest to darkest. So you've been used to that your whole life. It is not rainbow order. And so, oh, I did it again. Oh no, good. It didn't come off of me. I'm putting that up there. I'm not sticking my hand in any more paint. So that's why it does it. And that's why watercolors do that. Oh, and I forgot to tell you, if you get this, you do get a brush with this palette for the $30. It's a really good deal. It's a really smoking deal, actually. And I haven't painted with this series, but Sennelier is wonderful. So they're an old one. They're like Winsor & Newton. They're some of the original pieces. So what I do is on your paint, you will get who made it, what kind of grade it is. And this one says fine student grade. And like I have already told you, Sennelier, even their student grade is better than a lot of professional grades you can buy. The paint number, now that number is different with every company. So if you want to get the exact same number, you'll want to put that on your pan. And so you refill it with the same thing. Then you get their name. And this one's primary yellow. And then if you look, where's theirs at? Then you see these codes here. And so you'll see, like it says 574, which we know is the paint number from the front. Then it has a T and an O. And that's saying you can use it transparent to opaque. So if you put this on directly while it's wet, you can put it on pretty opaque. And then it has a half square right there, and that's its light fastness. Usually they use stars and not a half, but I can tell you this primary yellow might darken a little, but it's not going to go anywhere because it's a staining color, so it will stain your paper. But what light fast means is that if it was in the sun, it would change color and or disappear. And any neon paints you get will do that because they're a dye base instead of pigment based. But I always try, that's another reason you buy higher quality paints. The higher quality you buy, the more likely they'll be light fast. I live here in Colorado where we're a mile high, so we're very close to the sun here. And whenever anyone buys one of my paintings or even a print, I always advise them, if they're buying it without me having put it in a frame, to get UV protection on it and keep it out of direct sunlight. You don't want that no matter where you live. And I paint with bright, bright colors. So mine will fade if you leave it in direct sunlight or don't protect it with UV. Now, I have paintings that I did 10, 15, 20 years ago that are bright, and they've been up on my walls here in Colorado. And I have a pretty bright house, and there is no fading in them. So that's just a testament to the ink or to the pigment that I'm using in the paint. And it's also a testament to the glass that I put on top of them and the paper. So it's all archival. So those are some of the differences. The next thing you will see is it says, I think I'm close enough here, pigment or pigments, and then it'll have like a PY, and this one has PY 74. So what that means is this is going to tell you what pigments they put in the paint. This is a single pigment, which is also another thing that I advise for newbies, because single pigment paints will never get yicky on you, even if you combine them with bad choices. They're going to go brown because when you mix colors together, it will always go into a brown or a dark gray, but it won't be icky. If you have multiple pigments in a paint and then you put it with another multiple pigment paint, you might not know what you're going to get out of that. So it's much easier to start with single pigments. The PY means pigment yellow, and then the 74 is the standard number given to the pigment. So PY yellow or PY 74 is the same no matter where you are. If you're in China, Russia, America, or any other country in the world that uses pigments. And those pigments are the same for dyes also. So PY 74, you can use that in paint, in dyes, in fabrics that have been dyed. So that's how you trace it. I don't know. Okay, this one should be a multi-level. Nope, this set may be all single pigments. I can't remember. Of course it is. But here's one. So this one, you see, has transparent, has the T, has the full thing open. So it means it's totally transparent and it's light fast. And then here it says pigment, and then it's got PG7, so that's pigment green 7. And then it has PY 74, so that's this one in it too. So it's a mix of those two colors. Which one was it? Pigment 7. So here's what pigment 7 looks like. And here's what pigment 74 look like. If I mix these two together, I will make this color, or I can buy it, which is called a convenience color. Of course, I'm going to tell you, buy it. But if you're just starting out and you're not sure you like any of this, then go ahead and I don't know. I'm all for Convenience Colors. I teach people color theory and how to mix colors. I can teach you how to do that like nobody's business. I was an art teacher for a couple of years at a private school. And before that, I was an art therapist, and I've been doing art since I was born practically. So I can teach you to mix color, but sometimes it's nice just to have it already done. So what I'm going to do, these pans will sit in here this way, horizontal, which is nice because then there's a lot of space to write on here. I am going to put I almost said Jaune Primary, which is the French version. I'm going to put primary yellow on here. I use a Sharpie because it is, of course, waterproof. Did I just spell primary wrong? Oh, no, I didn't. I'm a terrible speller if you guys didn't know. And I will put the number 574. Oh, yes. I know Cindy's been doing a lot of watercolor doodling, and she has it. I think it's just on her shorts, but you can go look at it, and I would suggest you do because it's fun to watch. Petite. Well, and then, so I've labeled it primary yellow. I put the number so I know when I run low on this, if I can't find the tube, I can just go buy it because I know it's La Petite Aquarelle. And then I'll put Sennelier on there. I think I can put it on here. I don't know if you just heard that. I'm sorry. That was my stomach. I just ate protein before I came on. So that's how it is. So then I am going to pop it in here. And that's going to be the first one. I won't do them all tonight because I think you guys will get bored. But I will pop them all in here. See how they just push in. It's just a snap-in thing. And I'll show you in a minute, but you could combine these. If you have the tiny ones, you can put them in there. You know, the quarters. Well, they're not quite a quarter. They're more like a third. Or the halves. You can put them in there. You don't have to put all of these. And if I buy more Senneliers that are in tubes, I probably will add them to this. Because you can also, they also fit. Oh, these don't. So a half pan will fit in the middle. So you can add 7. So you can add like 14 more pans to it if you want, at least. So here I go. I'm going to open it. Hopefully it doesn't explode. These have been down. If they're shipped, okay, see it hasn't, but look, there was a bubble. If it's starting to explode, tap it down really fast, but also have your thing ready. In Colorado, because we're high up, a lot of times my paint will explode. I expect it. It's really nice this didn't. So then what you do is you take your tube, press from the bottom. Always press from the bottom. And then I move it around so that you can see that. Yeah, that's good. So that it fills it up. Now, I don't fill mine all the way to the top. I don't feel like I need to. I know I have more of this paint. And if I pull these over so that it won't slide back and forth like it's doing. Oops, I forgot I had that white one. I'll take one out. Then it won't. Now, I'm not going to press it any harder or anything, and it's down low in the tube. That keeps, that keeps the top nice and clean. Next time I go to get it, I will open it. I will put some down in there, and then I'll start folding up my bottoms. I've used the white twice, so it's been folded up once for me. I just used it wet the other day, last night when I don't know what I was doing. Oh, yes, I do. I made 2. So this one is orange and it's single. Oh, no, this is a double color too. There are single oranges though. This one has PY83 and PO73. See, there are orange pigments. I'll take it. I always like to show people this because sometimes they do explode and people worry about that. As long as you're ready. Okay, good. That's not. These may not. This may be a really nice palette. Let's see. I'll put that in there. So once again, I take it and I push from the bottom and I just let the paint direct itself. I don't move it about with it. I don't use a brush. And as it dries, it will get, so there we go. I used maybe a quarter of the 2. People always ask. I will get at least 3, if not close to 4 whole pans out of this one. And it is, you're going to ask me, I don't know how many ounces this one is. It does say somewhere, I'm sure. It says light fast, no rating. So this one says light fast, no rating, NR. I assume that's their no rating. They may not have tested that one long enough. This one is Rouge Primary, which is primary red in English. This one's been dented, probably by me, because I was playing with them. I was looking at them earlier, so it might explode. But we're ready. We got a pan right there. Yeah, this one's gone up a little bit, but not too bad. So as it dries, like I said, it will sink down in there in the pan. It's not like water that expands. Most things aren't like water. I'll probably only get 3 out of here, 3 full pans. It's not like water. It will expand. And you can, I don't know, can you see that? Let's see, which one goes in? Look at that. There are bubbles in there. The bubbles will eventually pop. I have a pokey tool. I'll show you what you can do. So, let's see. I use a barbecue skewer and go in there. This isn't smart because I don't think I have anything to wipe it on. You can pop it and then it's gone. You can pop it. There you go. Now, it did put a little bit of paint on my skewer. So either I have to let it dry before I use it in another color or wipe it off. I just wiped it off with my hand. It's okay. It's dry. So if we get another bubble, we'll have that. Let's see. The next color is Red Madder Lake. Oh, Rose Madder. There's a red and there's a rose. And they call it Rose Madder lacquer, or lacquer, not liqueur, lacquer. And it is a single pigment PV, which is PV is primary violet. And it's 19. Oh, these colors are beautiful. I can't wait to paint with them. Oh, and there was air in that one and it popped. So sometimes if there's air in them, you might not get as much paint, but they're supposed to. And if they're a quality company, they will. Look at that. I almost got the exact right amount in all 3 of them. I put too much in the yellow. They weigh them ahead of time. Oh, and see, it already popped. The bubble. Oh, there's another one I can see in the thing, but I can't see. Did it pop? Did I pop you? There. The bubble is only an aesthetic issue. It is not an issue with me painting with these at all. I'm just trying to do a quick one for you. This is cobalt blue, and it's a cobalt blue hue. Now, anytime you see the word, oh, look how dirty. I'm sorry. I've been painting. Cobalt blue hue. If you see hue after any color, that just means that they didn't use as, that just means that it's not a pure cobalt. Cobalt is expensive and it's toxic. So there are people that won't use pure. Oops, see, now that one kind of exploded a little bit. There are people who will only use the hues in cobalt. I don't eat my paints. Well, technically I've dumped my, if you've ever painted, you probably have to. Oops, I got it on the pan, darn it. But I don't eat my paints or lick my fingers or any of that. So to me, if it's titanium or cobalt or what's the other? There's a few other ones, magnesium, that they put in paints, and they've all changed that to hues now. Now, it's not the exact same color because the cobalt is going to have a lot more. Oops, that one. I am getting bubbles. There we go. Popped it. They're just not as pigmented is all. This one's primary blue, which is, PB 113, 15.3. And each color, so that one's is PB 15.3. I didn't bring in any of my other colors. I don't think they're upstairs in my wet studio. Oh shoot. See, now that one is exploding. Shoot. But you can have the same color. So PV 74 or PY 74, which is the yellow. This one's much thicker. It's not going in as pretty. That's okay. I don't want to mess with it too much. There are people that use like a pointy tool and will put these together. They would be very upset with that. They would let it dry. If you let it dry until they are like this one, see how the shininess has gone away? Do I have a clean finger? No, I just made, okay, this finger. And you can push it down and make a dot. So the middle is dolloped like that. It's coming through. I pushed too hard like that. And then add more white to the top. That's how you fill your pans. I personally don't, I'm not selling these, so I don't need my pans full. Besides the fact that, okay, this came with white, but no blacks. The blacks I was going to add. Okay. Really, when you're buying paint, it's so awesome to get a set. I got some watercolor paint in tubes by De La Rani. I bought a cute tin with pots and filled the pots. The next day they dried out and pulled out of their pots. No, you do not need to keep it airtight. So that's a couple different things. They pull, oh, what did I do with that other palette? Once paints are dry, they can, depending on what's used to, see it came right out. What's used as the fillers, they might come apart. So you could do a couple things. You can, if it bothers you, you can, like this is black ivory. So I can use the same color and put a dollop at the bottom and then squish this in, and it's going to help seal it in. It's going to help seal that back in. Two, they pop out because they're not fully filled. The more you fill your little wells, the less likely they'll pop out. And by letting it dry overnight, you let it dry and it wasn't full. I would guess it wasn't clear full. So you can just add to the top too. You don't have to, if it hasn't popped out, but it's wiggling in there, like some of these have. It's wiggling in there. Let me find one. I haven't used this one. I wonder if it'll do it. Okay. Yeah, it wiggles in there. I can put paint around it so that it'll fill it up again. The other thing you can get is you can get Gamasol or gum arabic. When you buy the paints, they'll tell you what they use. Some people use honey. Some people use gum arabic. There's different ones you can use. And you can put that in there, and especially when they're wet like this, and mix that in. So I wouldn't do the honey. I'm not like skilled at that. I would add gum arabic and then I would mix it up, and that will make it a little runnier, but it will seal to the pan. It's just like when you cook brownies, how they are a cake, a sponge cake, and it comes in from the sides and you have so it's off the pan. That's all that's happened with this. So this is my green yellow, which remember it was, oh, I don't have the other green out yet, but it was this yellow mixed with the next color I'm going to put out. And it's already done for me here, so I don't have to mix that on my palette. But usually when you buy paints in a set, they put in a white and a black for you. I never use black because black, the way it's made commercially, it doesn't have the colors you're using. If you want a black, make your own. Make a very dark one with your blues and a little bit of yellow in there, and maybe some green and purple if you have it. That way it's all cohesive in your whole mixing thing. I'm going to turn it this way so you can see it. That way all the colors match, because the black will stick out and not all blacks are the same. A good way for me to describe that is if you go and buy a Sharpie and then you're trying to fix something that's black and you put the Sharpie on it because, well, it's black, you will see a difference in colors. Sharpies tend to have blue in them. So it's a blue black, and it will always, so it won't match my colors. I did that one. This one is deep green. Which one? PG7. And see, it's a light fast of 1, so it's awesome. And there are 2 light fast nails. There's one that they use in Europe, and I can't remember what it's called. I don't remember what they're called. And there's one that's mostly used by Americans and some Chinese manufacturers because they manufacture for a lot of Americans. So if you look up light fast color ratings on Google, it will give you the 2 different scales. But I can tell you, the brighter something is, the less earth color it is, the more likely it's not going to be solid light fast. Light fast one. This is yellow ochre. Right? Yeah, yellow ochre. It didn't revive them. Well, to be honest, I'm not a fan of Daler-Rowney. I cannot remember who owns them, but they're owned by another company, and they're a cheap watercolor. I remember when you put those in your pan, and I was at home sitting out in my front room. My husband was upstairs, and I'm going, "Oh, you're going to be so disappointed." And my husband's like, "Are you yelling at Beth?" And I'm like, "Yes." Because she's putting in a terrible watercolor thing. And I was going to send you a little palette that had good watercolors on it, because I did not want you to make your assessment of watercolors based on Daler-Rowney. They're more of in the vein of Master Touch, which is Hobby Lobby. Oh gosh, I think I got that on my face. Hobby Lobby, or what are they called at Michael's? I don't know. But they're more of the store brands, and they're not going to necessarily be reliable. This is Burnt Umber. I think. Now, me personally, even when I do my student classes, I will buy. There are many different paint companies you could buy from that are better than that at the same price. I was going to send you a list too. I have a list made up of good paints. That's okay. And made a tree out of them. Oh, Joe got it for Five Below. See, yeah, I can't remember who makes them. Okay, so my next color is Payne's Gray, which is the black in the to the watercolor community. Payne's Gray, neutral tint is another type of black. Now, I like Payne's Gray, and I'm going to put it over here near my black, not near my browns, because I will add paints to this. They may, or I don't know. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll do that. Well, I don't know. This is, like I said, this is a starter set. This isn't every color. And if I'm picking it, these aren't the colors I would pick. Like, I don't know. I might have some of these colors in my palettes, but I tend to be a maximalist when it comes to watercolor. Well, obviously, I think I have pretty close to almost everyone. If you watched the Frugal Crafters video on her paint palettes, it was 2.5 hours long. I have almost as many as she does. I have more in some of the colors than she has. I'm going to close your eyes if you get sick, because I'm going to widen it out a little so you can see the whole palette. So now these are in there. Going to put the white one over here so you can see what it looks like full. And where's my other Sennelier? I think it was Pottery Barn, they had a Sennelier set that had like six colors in it. And that was my first time I'd ever bought Sennelier. Let's see. We don't have a purple, do we? Payne's Gray, I got that one. What are you? Burnt Sienna. Well, I do kind of like that color, but I don't have any purples in here either. I guess I won't be adding another one. How many yellows? Oh, I've got 2. Well, I always count that as a yellow in my opinion. I got 1 yellow. So I have an empty pan right here. This was a Sennelier, and it was lemon yellow. Which, did I get lemon yellow? No, I got primary yellow. For now, I'm going to put it in backwards so I can't see that it says lemon yellow. But see, it totally filled up my pan. I'll show you. So my watercolor pan is totally full up. Now, I will set these like this. I may close this flap because it doesn't touch. It doesn't touch the paint. I may close that, but I will leave it open to the air to dry. Now, I live here in Colorado, and like I showed you, this one's pretty dry, the white. I did that at maybe 6 o'clock tonight, and it's 10. I went on at 10 o'clock my time, and it's dry to the touch. So things will dry really fast here. I am not humid. I think Beth lives in Florida. Hey, Edna, how are you? Beth lives in Florida. Pam lives in Utah, so she's used to it being that way. Michelle lives in California, so it could be humid, maybe not. And then, Cindy. Daler ran any acrylics? Yes, I like their acrylics. Acrylics are a whole different ball game, though. But yes, you're right, Cindy. And you're right. I think Walmart does sell those. I don't know. I've been buying too many online. And like I said, this set. So this is what this set looks like when you get it. I'm going to have to pull myself out here. I have to go through the whole thing there. So when you get it, it comes like this with the brush and the tubes. And like I said, you can put it here. If you put the paints out here, just put enough out to use to do your painting. That way you don't have to worry about drippage and stuff. When you close it, I'm going to show you another neat thing. I can tell you 2 things I've figured out about this palette already. One is the plastic on the outside is not very strong. This has a hand grip underneath. So you can hold it like this if you're painting with it. It's not good for your wrist. Ergonomically, that's not good, especially if you're painting much. But it's a good one to have on your desk. I will put this, I will label it on the side here, on the front with my labeler, my label maker. And I'll put it with the rest of my paints. Because I won't get rid of that palette because it may have a use someday. And I have a basket full of these. So I have a basket full of full pans, half pans. Like I said, I'm getting the minis. And then they do make these in clear and rounded also. I just get the cheap ones. Yes, you live in the desert state. There you go. So yeah, the more humid it is, the longer the watercolors will take and the harder to activate them is. I did not bring it in, but online you can get a mister, and it's when you spray it, it like mists. It's not like a sprayer, like a spray bottle like we grew up with. Most of you are younger, not too much younger than me. I'm still just eating. So the mister is what I highly recommend. You can buy little ones. If I remember, I'll try and go back and put the links to them for Amazon. I'm not an affiliate. It's just, I'll just try and help you. The other thing though is if you buy from Temu, whatever. Oh, you do. We don't. We have moisture never here. But I think I may be higher than you too, Pam. It may have to do with altitude. But it's good that if you're gonna do your watercolors and you're not putting them wet from the tube to use immediately on a palette or a plate or whatever, then it's good to go ahead and spritz them ahead of time. Now, back when I was learning in art school, we didn't use nothing fancy like that. You used a brush, a big brush, and you dripped water into each of them. And then you went back and dripped water. And then by the time you'd done it the second time, they're pretty moist. And you were able to paint with them. But I like the spritzers that are like, they're like atomizers more than they are like a spray bottle. So I like them. And that's what I will... Oh, look. You probably can't see it. Okay, let's see. I don't know if I can show you. I got white off my finger and my Payne's gray right there. Ah, that's all right. What I'll do is I'll let it dry. I'm not going to try and do it now because it'll mix into all of it. I'll let it dry and then I'll put some water on a brush and I'll gently pull it out. But if you notice my other paint, that's the thing with watercolors. You're not going to ruin them and you can get the darker color. You can see, like, where's my pokey? You can see here I had green on my brush and it needed to be darker. So I went in here to this forest green and put it on darker because I was mixing greens. So I did that. And then the yellows, my yellows always look like this. So usually when I do yellows, I have one yellow that I contaminate, and then I will put the same color yellow next to it in these light colors so that I don't ruin them. Because when I'm really painting, I'm not thinking about that. And so I've learned that it's just better to me to have one that I can put a dirty brush in and one that I can't. It's just like having a clean water bottle and a regular water bottle. Oh, they feel velvety. Oh, that's cool. 79%. Holy boy. Yes, I have. Okay. And the other thing, if you're on Temu and you're buying stuff, their watercolor pans are cheaper than any of the other pans you're going to get. You can't get them that cheap and maybe at a store on sale. I don't have like a Dick Blix here, so I just have Hobby Lobby and Michael's. And then I have an art store for the college, but it's very expensive. Oh, yeah. I have arthritis in both my thumbs from breaking them as a child and chipping them indoors. And this one started like, it's even kind of turning blue. It started just throbbing earlier, like horribly. And I don't know if it's from my bone or if it's like bone pain, because that's how it felt, or if it's arthritis. Yeah, our highest humidity at any time, 56%. Good night, Arlene. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. I'll tell you, I don't know if my watch has humidity on it. No, my watch doesn't. And my phone is being used. UV index. Hey, the UV index is low right now. That's because it's dark. Yeah, I don't have the humidity here. I would guess it's probably no higher than 18% because we had some precipitation. So while these are drying, ooh, you can see the yellow ones. Oh, can you see? That yellow one finally did pull some bubbles up. Not that I care, but I can pop them. Pop. Ooh, they're not going to pop very well because it's already got a skin on it. Oh, you poop heads. Yeah, I'm not going to worry about it then. It's already got a skin on it. The first time I use it, you won't even notice it. So I'm going to close this. I didn't close my pan all the way. I'm just going to leave it like that, because otherwise I'll stick my hand in it. And I'll show you guys something a couple of things I've been working on. So here are, when I tell you I like bright, I'm going to go backwards. There. Don't look at that mess over there. Don't pay attention to the mess. So here's one of my watercolors. Which way's up? This way. So this, I watercolored the background first. So like what Cindy Loves Jewelry and Paper Arts does. If you get the palettes that are metal, yes. If you get the palettes that are the plastic, they may be thicker. I know some places have really thin palettes. If you're just going to use a palette like that, I suggest to my people usually to buy a white plate for $1 at the Dollar Tree and use that as your palette. That way it's white, so you can see the colors truly is what they're going to be mixed as. It's easy to wash off, and it's heavy, so it's not going to be going. I will hit it and knock it. I am a klutz from Cluttsville, so it will go flying. I need something that has some weight in it. So that's what I would suggest. More rain to add to the overflowing. Yeah. So those are my ideas. If this is a great time, if you're at the thrift store and you find a white egg platter that's just white or has just a little things on the little decoration on the outside, grab it, because then you have the divot to hold the paint in, and then you can put out tons and tons of colors. Oh, yes, they are. I actually have some coming, Cindy, from Temu that are some of their generic ones that aren't named. But Marie's, it's just like it says, Maries. Marie's are a good quality paint, and they sell those on Temu. I would highly suggest them. They are wonderful paints. Marie's has gouache, which, like I said, is a water-based paint that you can reactivate, unlike acrylic. And then it's just graphic designers and illustrators use it because it's opaque, like acrylic. So they have those. Marie's has Chinese style. The Chinese style usually has some type of animal rendering in it. So its binder is a real heavy binder, but they use them more for like the Chinese painting style or doing the calligraphy with the great big brushes. And those ones are good. And then they have the watercolors. And Marie's also does acrylics. I don't know much about the acrylics. But yes, I have some paints coming from Temu. I spent too much, but I do. I have a couple sets. Also, if you happen to be someone, I know Beth, if she's still here, and I think Pam both like to use colored pencils or watercolor pencils. They have Brute Pruner on Temu, and it is a lot cheaper than anything you will ever get on anywhere. And I ordered their macaroon their macaroon set, which is their pastel ones. And I got them, and they're gorgeous. They're exactly the same as the ones that are sold somewhere else. They're truly Brute Pruners. I did order their oil-based pencils because I like the oil-based better than I like the other type of colored pencil. I taught drawing and at a private school for a year. I did it for 2 years, but 1 year it was specifically drawing was all we were supposed to do. And so I bought all different kinds of colored pencils. And I love the oil colored pencils because you can activate them with baby oil as a binder and spread them around like paint. So those are fun. So I did order the Brute Pruners oil-based ones. And that's a highly recognizable one. Also, if you like graphite, that they have a water activated graphite set on there. I think it's $4.99. They're great too. And then they have water color pencils, so you can use them as pencils and then activate them with water with a brush, or you could dip them and then in water and then use them. And because I have to know, I ordered a couple different sets of those to try out. Yes. Yes, Pam. I put 3 orders in last weekend. It was bad. It was bad. I had gotten paid. It was really bad. But I'm really excited about getting them. And like I said, and they have really good paper at Temu too. You have to look because not all of it's going to be good. I suggest if you're going to do watercolor, you get a minimum of 140 weight. I know I saw in Temu they had 120 weight, and I did order that to see how it is. But 140 pound is usually what you want in watercolor. You can go up to the 300 pound, and there's even 500 pound. Very expensive, but so you can get that on Temu too. And I did order a couple pads of those to kind of see how they'll work too. So Yeah, it's bad for I love art supplies. Many years ago, well, not many, probably 20, 25 years ago, I got rid of almost everything that I wasn't using. So I got rid of all my crafting supplies. I got rid of acrylics, all the cheap, like folk art paints and all that stuff. I got rid of all of it. I sold it off. My scrapbooking stuff, I probably sold off $500 worth of scrapbooking stuff, and I still have some downstairs. But I did. I was like, I'm really just doing my art, my watercolors, and my beading and my soldering, my silversmithing. So that's almost all I had. So what? During COVID, I started back into the mixed media. I had already started because like this is mixed media because I have ink on it. I did not use, let me see, I did not use Sharpie because I laid the ink down after I did the watercolor. I still would say use a waterproof ink. That one looks funny. You should still use a waterproof ink because you may want to go in and then fix some of this. Like I have some white spaces in here, but I need those for your eye to rest. So I'm not going to go back and fix them, but I have gone back in. So you do always want to make sure you're using a waterproof ink. I have dip pens and like calligraphy pens with nibs. And so I'll do the drawings with those sometimes. This is one of my favorites that I did. I did this one. I don't like it. I could just tell you, I do not like it. I'm not happy with it. It got too dark. It does not look like watercolor to me. I mean, the edges do. Like I could show you. The edges do. And maybe the yellow does. And look, some of that. But then look, it just got, I might put it in a mat and try and sell it. I don't know. It goes this way. I haven't signed them yet. Did I sign them on the back? No. So I'm not sure, but, and this paper, both of these papers are, I usually use, so there's cold press, hot press, and rough in watercolor. This is hot press. So there's no texture on it. Very little. It's still absorbent, but there's no texture. This one, this is supposed to be a cold press, but I would classify it as a hot press. It's a cheaper paper, but there's nothing on it. Here, I could show you. Hot or cold press is, you can see it in these. These are some of the tags I've been working on. Like I said, I'm in a tag swap, so I did this one. So you could actually see the texture in this one. That's called cold press. Now this texture is a mechanical drum texture, so it's all the same. It's a cheap, I don't know what it is. I couldn't even tell you. It's not too cheap because when I was tearing it, it was really hard to tear. But it's a cheaper one. And then there's rough. And rough has deep valleys and grooves. And if you're going to do ink on it, I would suggest not because you won't get very good lines, one. Two, if you're doing it with a pen, you'll ruin the pen. This one is, I covered the back already. I was going to show you. This is an expensive watercolor paper that I got. And I did I did a huge sheet of this. And so it has all of these on it. And I didn't like the way they look, so I decided I was going to make tags out of it. But you could see, I think you could see there, the textures. The texture is different on this because they did it. It wasn't done by a drum. So it's not done mechanically. It's done, they're more like handmade papers. They're not considered handmade, but they're pretty close. And you pay, I mean, I have a paper that's a 36 by 32 by Arches, which is one of the best papers you can get, hands down. There are some other papers in Italy that are handmade that are even better, but that piece of Arches is I have the cold press and I have the rough. Rough is always more expensive. And the cold press I got on sale, it was still for a 36 inch by 32 inch. It was still upwards of $50 for the one piece. For both, they each ranged about that. Oh, you like this one? Oh, Pam. I told my husband, I said, should I just cut this up or is it even worth saving? And he's like, you're going to cut it up? Why? And I'm a purple girl. All my school from high school and college is all purple and white as their colors. I put the purple background back in here and I don't like it because it got to I don't know what it was. So yeah, I was thinking of making it into tags and then decorating them more. This is the one I made. It says April shower. So the tag swap I'm in is for if any of you watch PM Artist Studios, which most of you do on here. I don't know if Cindy does, but most of you and Michelle. But PM Artist Studios is a mom and daughter and then a husband pair, and then the husband helps too, Brad. And they make stencils out of they don't use mylar or typical stencil paper. They use what's I can't remember who it's by, but it's a plastic paper. And I've made stencils myself that I've cut myself out of them. And they make those, and they're on Tuesday, Thursday. Is it Tuesday, Thursday? And Tuesday, Thursday, and Sundays. And so they do gel pulls and gel press stuff, jelly press. And I have not done that yet, but I do have all the plates to do it. I can't make myself do it. It's scaring to me. Oh, the other one. Yeah, this is the best. This is one of the ones when I was getting into it. Now, this is an older one that I did, and I finished the drawings out tonight on a couple of the flowers. I may have to add another one because it's not quite moving the way I want it to. But I don't draw flowers like this anymore. This is really tight. As you can see from this tag that I'm making. So anyway, they have a Facebook group. I'm going everywhere. Sorry. They have a Facebook group called Makers of Mixed Media and something. If you want to know and you're not involved in it, just message me or email me at designsanddoovers@gmail.com and I'll send you the link. And they do a swap every month, and they do tags, postcards, artist trading cards is what I think they rotate through every other month. And so this month I get to do it. And if any of you watch Carrie the Crafter, that's CERI the Crafter, he's my swap partner. So I'm like, I should have never known who it was because I wouldn't have any problems making stuff. But because I know it's him, I'm very intimidated because he was the first. He really got me back into doing some of that kind of mixed media stuff with the papers and stuff. And so I'm like freaking out. But this month is April showers, bring May flowers, spring, that kind of thing. So I made this. So if you look real close, see these pulls? These are jelly pearls. Those are from Cindy here. And she does sell them once a month. She has a craft sale. The other 3 weeks, she does jewelry on Monday nights. And these are from her. And then I tore them out into the shapes I wanted for a flower. And I put the flower on. I glued it onto this background. I hand lettered April showers, bring May flowers. This one's done. I have to poke a hole in it. My hole punch wasn't next to me. So I'll put a hole punch and then I'll put something on the top for him. But that one's done. I'll write on the back all my information and stuff. So that's one tag. I have to make 3. So I had started this other tag before I found out who my swap partner was. And I love it. But because it's him, I'm not sure this might not be the tag. And I keep them. Somebody asked me this too. These are postcard sleeves. I just ordered them on the postcard sleeves I got from Amazon. And then, so they'll hold postcards, but I also use them because I make bigger tags. The next tag, and I hope Beth's here because I think she might enjoy this one too. Okay, so I was at our Dollar Tree, one of my Dollar Trees, and they had these metal tags. They were selling them for 10 cents a set. So I bought like 10 or 15 of them, sets. And so, oh, thank you, Pam. I don't know. I am so like flummoxed by him being I like died. I was like, oh my God, he's my partner. I fangirled. I don't fangirl too often, but I did over him being my partner. Probably him and Patricia I would fangirl over. But so I love Vincent Van Gogh. I have top 5 artists. He's in the top 5. He's probably the top 2. He's 1 or 2 all the time. So he made my phone case is even it. So that's his cherry blossom. It's a huge painting. It's great. I love him. And it's really popular right now. So I had these metal tags. So I thought Carrie might get a kick out of them. I'm going to send him a blank one as, part of the swap. But so I put on dictionary pages. One of these is from Cindy too. She does ephemera packets, guys, and they're great. They're okay, Michelle. They're great. They're inexpensive, and she gives you a lot of really cool stuff. So I have 2 different dictionary pages that I glued down to it on the back. On the front, I wrapped it around. So there's that. Then there's another piece of paper that I did before I realized what I was going to do. And I don't know. It's from something. And it's from a scrapbook thing. Oh, cool. Awesome, Cindy. I can't wait to watch. And then it's actually got watercolor on it. I will have to seal this because the watercolor will chip off. Or if his hands are damp. And he lives in Wales and they get pretty humid there. So I will seal it before I send it to him, if I send this one to him. And then I did all of this. This is all done with watercolor onto, and I use bright colors, onto the printed material. My husband told me this was not done. So I'm working on what to add to it. I don't know. I tried to put some labels and stuff on it. And that wasn't working. So I don't know. So as of right now, I'm okay with this, sending this to him. This one, I was going to have his initial Carrie on there, maybe CG on there, and then do some other things. So that one will probably get made. I have to get him out this week because it's an April one. Where'd my little baggie go? It's an April one. Uh-oh, I may have lost my baggie. There it is. It's an April one, so I wanted to get it out, so he might get it by the end of April, but he does live in England, and they do have difficulty with their posts sometimes, so I don't know. I like it just this way. My husband didn't, so I'm not sure what I'm going to do. Then, if any of you know who Marguerite Miller is, she is a collage artist. They are, and actually, then bigger pieces of it might actually go to them in, the little thing of swaps I send him. I'll send him a goodie bag, and he may get some of those bigger ones too. So just so you know, I'll let you know if I send him some, and I'll let you know when he opens them. So Marguerite Miller has a group. It's not on like Facebook. It's on, I can't remember what it's called, but you can just look up Marguerite Miller and then you'll find it in her links. She's basically just a collage artist with vintage and vintage ephemera and some new ephemera. And so I watch her, and she does a trade 4 times a year. She only allows 100 people in because she gets thousands. I mean, she has thousands of people in her group. And you have to pay $8, and you have to do 4 of whatever it is for that. So I joined your group just to do these swaps. One, it makes me get out of my comfort zone, which is why I do swaps, not because I love getting other people's stuff. And I keep that because I started swapping with Beth's group. Oh, and Beth has swaps all the time on her group. You must watch her. She's on, are you on Monday and Wednesday nights, Beth? I can't remember anymore, but I can put everybody's links in if I remember. But Beth, it's BETH and then Schuler, SCHULER, and she does lives, and she got me into doing some different kinds of arts and swap. Hers were the first swaps I ever did in August, September, and November and October. I think I did with her. I just, since my surgery, I just haven't been doing anything really, but, so I'm getting back into it. So with Marguerite's challenge, I paid the $8. I was one of them, and it is metal, METAL, and it's postcards. So I have to do 4, which side's open on this one? I have to do 4 postcards, and I have to get them to her by May. So these will go out I have one of them done for sure. Cindy, yet again, has something from your ephemera pack on it, which I wanted to ask you if you had any more of this lady, because I forgot to make a copy of it before I used her, because I love this lady, and you sent me a copy. She's from one of your books. So the back is a postcard. My postcards were bigger than my envelopes, so I cut it down. And she wants us to write something on the back to whomever gets it. So I will. I'll introduce myself and put my information and tell her. And you have to use vintage ephemera with hers. So this is what I did for the Marguerite Miller challenge. It's like I said, it's metal. So it's not an old postcard, but my paper that I used in the background is old. I used cutoffs from a book that's over 100 years old and wrote alchemy, and then the periodic table of elements. AG is for gold, silver, and AU is for gold. So I put them down because they're metal, they're precious metal. And then somebody sent me a package that was done up in gold tissue paper. And I have like coveted this gold tissue paper. I use it all the time. So it's on here. So I have the silver background. And believe it or not, this silver background is from a Discover card, the credit card, Discover card junk mail. So it's on the back. And then the stamps are old. I love stamps. So I have so many. I always send those to people when I said goodies, because I have a 3-inch ring binder that's full of stamps. And then I used these old-fashioned globe things. They're not called globes. I can't remember. And then this right here is from a book that Miss Cindy has. Thank you, Pam. Yes. Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday. There's Beth. I highly suggest you at least check her out. You'll probably subscribe. I subscribe to everybody, but it's free, so you can. And she does fun stuff all the time. I've checked in on her the last few times, and she's been making things. What was it she made the other day that I liked? I can't remember now. But yeah, she's fun. She does different things. She does beading, crocheting, felting, wool felting, painting, pottery. I mean, she does everything. She's awesome. And like I said, she does swaps there too. But this lady is taken from a vintage book that Cindy had in her ephemera. Or she may have sent it to me as a gift. I'm not sure. But I want another one of these, Cindy. Please, please, please. I need some more of this lady. I love her. I love her. And I forgot she got wet. Could you see that? That's how bad I am. She got wet, but it's okay. It just adds to the vintageness. So this is going to go in my swap. And then I started another one because I thought that for metal, using the periodic table was hysterical, because I'm a nerd like that. And I love the periodic table. I don't know anything about it. I am not a scientist. I am not a scientist geek at all. That's my husband and son's kind of area, even my daughter's. But I found an old dictionary that was from the 40s or 50s, and it had the periodical table in it. So I ripped it out. This is, I believe this is coffee dyed graph date. It actually is from here's the other part of it. Are you glued down? Yeah, you are. It's like from an old fashioned date book. See, it has the date on it. That's the other part of it. But I believe that's coffee dyed. I got it somewhere, probably in Sydney's ephemera. Who knows? And then I had these old hole reinforcers. Those ones you lick. So they're vintage. And then I colored them with a gold metallic and a silver metallic pen. Plus, I have the definition of metal on here in metallic. And then some pictures of gold, tin, and silver. And then it talks about metals versus non-metals. This is not done. I will add more to it. But that's the start. I don't ever start something and finish it at the same time. I'm not capable of doing that. I mean, I probably am capable, but I have so much vintage stuff, because once I decided I was going to do vintage in my collaging, a year ago, maybe a little bit longer, when I first discovered Carrie and saw you could do that, and then met other people that were doing it in collages, I realized that I had to have every vintage thing ever made. If it's paper vintage, I buy it. So that's the second one. So there's two. Then the other night, I was out at Target and saw they had, I don't drink very much, but, and you're not really supposed to with the surgery I had on my stomach, but I wanted to see how my stomach would handle it. And so I bought the little bottles of, oh, now I can't think of what it's called, but it's like champagne, only it's made in California. It's pink. And it's bubbly. I only drink sweet bubbly wine or champagne. That's all I drink. And it had this metallic on it. Isn't that pretty? I love it. It's pink. It's my color. And I had already done one of these with different books on it, just as a background. Then one of the ladies in Marguerite Miller's group was decluttering or destashing. And so all you had to do was pay for an envelope or a box, and then she would just send you all the stuff. So I got it today or yesterday. I don't know. I got it. So for $17.10, because I got the large box, because why would I get a small box when I could get a large? And I am so thankful I did it. Guys, it was chock-a-block full of vintage ephemera, and this postcard was in there, and they're metallic. See, it's a metallic mask and the little popper. So I think I'm going to use that. I may not use this background. I'm not sure. And then use this paper. Because look, it matches. Not exact, but it's close. I mean, you know, we're talking horseshoes here. It's close enough. So I may do that, collage that somehow. So that's the other one I have going. Oh, $17.10 is a medium box. That's what I paid for. Oh my God. It was so heavy. It was probably 30 pounds. I mean, it was heavy. And it has so much. Cindy, there was some stuff in there. I'm going to send you a goodie basket full, because I mean, she gave me way more than what it was worth. So yeah, she may have only done the big boxes, the 1710 one. But you guys, there were papers and there were books. And when I'm talking books, they're all out of copyright books, and it's amazing. And then there's the foreign languages and all that. I was just so excited. I actually no, I'm not. I was going to order another one from her, but I'm not, because I don't need it. I have way too much stuff. And then I think these are from you, Cindy. Is that postcard from you and your ephemera? I have two of them now. So I might collage on top of that, because then my postcard is vintage. But I also bought these the other day at my thrift store. They were half price. So they were 50 cents, or maybe they were 39 cents. I can't remember. And it was a box. So I had the box, and then I had the postcards inside. So I might collage on this and do that. So that's my other choice. Because I originally started this one, which yet again has one of Cindy's pulls, because it has metallic on it. And then I pulled out a ticket, because the ticket's vintage. I'll probably use it on there though. But that's what I've been doing. So I have to get that done this week. I have I did an auction on, was it Friday night or Saturday night? No one's paid me yet for it, so I don't have to get any of those out yet. But I am going to get them all wrapped and weighed, and then as soon as people pay, I can do the postage. So I'll do that tomorrow too. So yeah, so that's kind of what I've been up to lately. Nothing too exciting. I have some more watercolors, but they're too big. I don't typically work small in my watercolor. I used to. And then I decided that I like to work big and explosive. So here's another one of those. Oh, crap. I had a crap-a-lanch. See, here's another one of those. Pam, that's another one. This one's matted. I don't like this one either. That was one of the first ones I did. It's signed over here. So yeah, it goes this way. I like the flowers. I don't like the background. It probably is what I don't like. And then I did a series of these I have these. This was the study, but I did this watercolor with these stripes, and I have that on a 36 by 32. This one I added blocks to, and then I added some flowers that are more stylized. So those are in my little sale pile over there. This is why this one isn't for sale anymore, probably, because I got it dirty. That's why I put plastic wrap on everything. Because I get it dirty if I don't. Because I'm bad like that. Thanks, Pam. I'll have to send you. I have prints of some of those. I'll have to send you a print. So I used to, I don't know. I have to clean this up before I leave my office. So I'll tell you the story. We used to, before COVID, the horribleness, I was making money off my art for the first time, really. And I was paying bills with it and stuff, and it was nice. My husband's on disability, so we're on a fixed income. So I was doing that, and then COVID hit, and no one was buying. So then I started doing some of my silversmithing and repairing things for people who are oh, that's in there. That's in there. That one's not in there. Who, were having time to spend looking at their jewelry and stuff and wanted it fixed. So they were sending me their stuff to get fixed, which I love. I truly love doing silversmithing. It's not my first love. I mean, jewelry is my first love, and beading is a love, but it's not the same as painting. It just uses different muscles, I guess, literally and figuratively. And so I was doing that, and I was making okay money off it. Nothing great. And it takes a lot more work. It takes a toll on me to do that. It takes a toll on my body to sit there and work with the fire and stuff, cut things out and all that. So I was doing that, and I wasn't painting so much because, I mean, when you're doing paintings every day, you fill up a lot of space. And really the only way a painting is going to sell and you make any money off it is if it's matted. So then if you mat it, it's harder to store. So I wasn't doing that. I was just doing the jewelry and some beading and stuff. And then a friend, Michelle, most of you, Michelle, not Michelle, Kim Veazey. Sorry, I looked at Michelle's comment. Good night. Thanks, Edna. I appreciate you stopping by. Kim asked me if I would do some crafting with her. And to me, that means I either paint or bead. And I was like, no one wants to watch me bead. I do boring bead. I don't do like seed bead work like Edna. Edna does, hey guys, if you haven't seen her, she's a Native American, born and raised that way and on a reservation and such. And her sister, Gina Little Whiteman, I know Gianna lives on a reservation right now. I don't know if Edna does, but they do beautiful Native American seed work and stuff. And that's fun to watch. But watching somebody string something or do is not really that much fun. So I decided I'd start painting again with Kim. And that was a year ago. And it was the first time I'd pulled out my paints and all that time. Since COVID, and I had COVID very bad in the first 4 months it was here. And so I started doing that again, but the sales still aren't there. So, and I quit doing eBay because it's just hard on me. It's just hard on me to do eBay. And so, and our son moved back in, and then he started paying us rent to live here. Well, he moved out a couple of months ago. Well, he moved out in March. And so now we don't have renter income, and I have no income coming in because I wasn't doing auctions or anything because I kind of quit because we didn't really need it. So now I have to build all that back up. I will probably really work on trying to sell my stuff again. But when I sell my stuff, I usually make prints of it that sell, for $10 for a 5 or an 8x10, 5x7, and 15 or 20 for an 8x10. And so that's usually what I make most of my money off of anyways, my prints. My watercolors aren't very expensive, but the bigger they are, I've sold watercolors for upwards of $1,000. And I have to do that again. My husband's like, you got to start making money again. I'm like, okay. Okay, I'll have to do something. So I definitely have all the art supplies to do it. I just have to start doing it again, which is also hard because I have, since my surgery, I just don't have the stamina. I've lost a lot of weight, which is really nice. I really am liking that. And I'm under 230 now for the first time since I had my son. I'm in the 220s. And today I got on the scale because tomorrow will be 3 months maybe exactly from my surgery. And this morning it was 227. So I haven't, the day I walked in and had my son, I weighed 222. And he's, that was in 1996. So I don't even remember being this as little. I'm not little, but as little as I am. Hi, Joyce. How are you? So I don't have the stamina that I did before. And I spend a lot of my time making sure I've drank enough, ate enough. And that right there feels like a full-time job to me. Plus, I'm starting to exercise. Last week, I went on a hike and we did 4.5 miles. I thought I was going to die by the end. I was just happy that my friend, who's very fit, and she's such a skinny little thing, always has been. And she was telling me how fat she was now, and she probably weighs 130 pounds wet, maybe with all her clothes on. And she was like, yeah, my body hurts. And so I didn't feel quite so bad that we had to stop and rest on the way back, but so I'm walking and I need to start doing I'm over 50. So you're supposed to start strength training. So because you don't want to lose your bone mass or whatever. And after gastric bypass, that is one thing they worry about with you. So my husband has the gym set up downstairs, so I'm going to have to start doing some of that weight training too. So hopefully that won't, because my weight loss has really slowed down the last 3 weeks. Hopefully that will start increasing it back up again. Sorry, I had to drink. So I'm supposed to drink 64 ounces a day of water. And my stomach doesn't like plain water, especially if it's cold. So I drink like Crystal Light, or there's tons of them. And so I drink that in my water. So I'm supposed to drink 64 ounces of that a day. And then you're supposed to have between 60 and 90 grams of protein a day. So if I don't know that I've ever gotten more than 60 grams of protein a day ever. But if I do one, I don't hit the other. And they had reduced my water intake because I was having trouble to 48 ounces. So the app I have that tracks my water, 48 ounces, I hit consistently. I hit 50 to 55 consistently. But then my protein level is so low, it's hard for me to do that. And I don't like protein shakes. They taste nasty. If you want some protein powders to try, let me know. I'll send you some because I have probably 20 different kinds. And it's probably not one I like. The one I like best is a protein powder that dissolves even in water, and it doesn't thicken it, and it doesn't make it taste. Now, I haven't tried it in the water because that's the idea of it disgusts me. So I have put it in refried beans and some other things. And so that helps increase my protein intake. And so I'm trying. Lord knows I'm trying. I don't want to lose my hair and stuff. You missed something? Oh, were you? Yeah, you left. I was just talking about that since my surgery, I'm having trouble getting things done. And my husband, our renter, my son, moved out. So I have to make up income. Why am I doing that? Well, because did you not know I had surgery? I had a really bad hernia, and it was called a hiatal hernia, which is like in your esophagus area, right above your stomach. And I went in to have that fixed, and the doctor was like, well, with all the problems you're having, we would suggest for the best results to fix that and then to have um, some type of weight loss surgery, because it there's many different kinds of weight loss surgery, but the one I had done, the gastric bypass, it bypasses your acid pumps and some of the other things that were causing me to have all these problems, to take all this medicine and stuff. And so I elected to, of course, have that, which is great. I would much rather be a skinny person like I used to be years ago. But when you do that, especially the one I had, you have to have your body to not eat your muscles and other things, your organs. You have to have as much protein, up to 90 grams of protein a day, really no less than 60. And then you have to have the water. The water's just to keep you hydrated, because you want to keep things moving in your system. I had that January 24th. So it's been 3 months, almost 4 months, I guess. January to February, March, April, 3 months. It'll be 3 months, like in the next couple days. But it was a Tuesday, so I gauge everything by my Tuesdays. So that's when I weigh in and do all my stuff. And I'm finally at the weight. I don't even remember being at this weight. I was at this weight when I had my son, who was born in 96. So it's nice, but it's a lot of, no one told me that it was a full-time job to eat protein and drink water. And so that is my full-time job. Plus I'm supposed to now make money off my art and auctions again. And, I'm like, I don't know. I just don't, I don't know if I have it in me. I do. I just have to change my mindset again. So I will have to start doing that. And I have to quit buying art supplies. Because if any of you watch, what's it called? Kim on, not I'm a Redneck, whatever. She does auctions. And I can't think of the name of her channel, but so Kim does these auctions, like 3 girls in a redneck and stuff. And she just got a storage unit that was full of craft and art supplies. And I'm like, oh, I have to have those. I have to have those, Kim. How much are they? So they're on It's About to Get Real. That's the name of her channel. Oh, you've had friends that have it? Well, I hope they're doing good. It's About to Get Real. That's the name of Kim's channel. And if you go over there, it's on YouTube. She does auctions like maybe 5 nights a week, between 4 and 6 nights a week. She doesn't usually do them every night. And she's awesome. She gets her and Amber, who do the auctions every night with each other. They buy storage units and stuff, and they just have phenomenal things. So no matter what you're looking for. But if you're looking for art, call me. Because they don't usually have fine art, but they have everything else. Amber's a crocheter, so you can buy stuff from Amber too. So she's on tonight. I'm going to go over and watch her when I get off here, probably. I put this stuff away and I won't. Yeah, I know you have to. I just feel like I'm always taking care of myself, which is not what I like to take. I'm a caretaker. I was a social worker and psychologist and art therapist. That's what I did. Took care of other people. It's much more my thing. But, I put my body through the ringer over the years in sports and everything else. So hopefully. Yes, T is Hemlock Lady. And she does jewelry. I don't know if T ever sells much other, but she does jewelry. And her jewelry, she's in Florida right now. She floats between Florida and Pennsylvania. And her stuff she's gotten lately is like totally awesome stuff. And T's on there usually twice a week or 3 times a week with them. So yeah. if you ever don't know who to watch and you need some, assistance and maybe who to go to, this one, yeah, that's that right now is my favorite when I got done. Just email or text me or whatever. Most of you have my phone number. I give everybody my phone number. I think you can always text me. And I'll give you some suggestions, whether you want to watch something funny or you want to watch auctions or crafting like with Beth. Yeah, flowers. Yeah. I love flowers. Give me a flower to do. I'll do a flower anytime. My husband just thinks it's funny. He's like, we paid for art school for you because we were married when we were 18. So he did art school with me and everything. He's like, we could have just sent you to the florist and you could have learned to draw flowers there. Yeah. And right now, T, who, I don't know, I think she's in early 40s. Her mom is getting rid of a bunch of jewelry. And so, yeah, Michelle's right. Her stuff is pretty awesome. She's Hemlock Lady. So you can look her up. I have a community tab on my YouTube, and I have another one that has like recommended channels, and I filled some of that out, but I don't know if everybody's in there, but I'll try and get to that and put those in there. That's the social media thing has just overwhelmed me. And I'm up every night until midnight or later because I'm a night owl. So I do watch late night stuff usually. So that's why. Like tomorrow I have to get up, and one of my dear friends, she's a realtor. She sold us our new house. This house is not new anymore, but I'm going to meet her. So I have to leave my house at like 9:30 tomorrow. I'm like, oh, yay. I will. So I am going to start doing more arty things online and such. So if you're interested, I'll keep inviting you. And if you subbed, always on anybody's, and you want to know when they go live, you have to hit the little bell so it's dark, or so it's, totally black. You have to ring the bell, and then you get notified, hopefully, if YouTube's like doing okay. So my voice is going, and I need to finish. It's 11:30, so I have a half hour to drink the rest of I got 18 ounces left to drink. I don't know if I'll get that much done tonight, but I'll get probably 10. And before midnight. So I thank you all for being here. If you're watching this afterwards and you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, or you can email me at designsanddoovers@gmail.com. It's all the words spelled out with no spaces. And I'll try my best to answer them. And I did put a couple links to the paint I showed and the palette I showed to Amazon. I'm not an affiliate, so I don't get anything out of it. I just was trying to help you. Oh no, I did this with watercolor. So I did like see how it's just watercolor in the background, or this one's just watercolor in the background. Haven't done anything yet to them. So I did that first on them. I did it on this one too. Oh no, this one I did the drawing first. And then I don't use a Sharpie usually, but that's all I have sitting here. I take an art marker that's black and permanent, and then I do all this. I think I did this without any pencil on it. I don't see any pencil marks on it. This one, I did the drawing first and proceeded to ruin it with the paint. I put purple behind here. I should never have done that. And actually, it looks like I started going over it with black to make it black behind there. I don't think that'll help either, but yeah. And I don't draw like this so much anymore. I finished this one out tonight before I came on. I missed a couple spots I need to do a couple more things with. But my drawing's a lot looser. My flowers look more like this now. More sketchy. I have a bunch more. I just didn't bring it in here. I have a studio downstairs, and that's where I am. Our house has like an office. So this is the office, and I do all my auctions and stuff out of here. And on the other side, I have I am beading. And on the other side, I have like my sterling silver and my silversmithing stuff, all the fire stuff. Upstairs, we have a loft, and it's only my husband and I here now. And my granddaughter comes over on the weekends. So the loft wasn't getting used. So I built that into like a painting and crafting studio. I do use ink, Michelle. I just didn't on these. The ink I use is just like well, I have many different kinds of inks, but you can dip a pen into it and then draw on here. I like that better because see here, like there's not, like you can see in these lines, there's some differences in the variation of thickness, but these are all the same thickness. And when you use a marker, you get about the same thickness. When you use a pen that's been dipped in ink, you'll get variations of thicknesses. And so I do like that much better. Much, much better. Because otherwise I have to go back in and make the variations in these. But it just depends. Like an old-fashioned ink pen, but they have these new ones. I don't know that they're new, but they're made out of glass, and you dip them in the ink, and then you use it on your paper, and then you dip it back in the ink, like the old fashions. They're not a pen, they're not metal, they're just glass. And they were selling them. I never had tried them, and they were selling them at Dollar Tree. They had a pink, a blue, a purple, and a green. And I bought them because, well, now it's $1.25, but they were $1.25 each. And I thought I'd play around with them. I love them. So that's one reason I'm more scratchy, is because when you're doing it with a dip pen, it just turns out that way. But also I've just loosened up in my painting. So, but I love those glass ones. I have many different colored inks, and so I want a glass pen for each color ink so that I don't contaminate them or whatever. And so I have to do that. I will do a demonstration of those. Somebody asked me for that last year when I got them and showed them on a haul, and I never did do a demonstration, but I will, because I have a list over here of things I'm going to start doing demonstrations of. They all won't be live. I enjoy them being live because I can talk to you guys and you can ask me questions, and it feels more like I'm teaching a class that way. And I enjoy that. But if I just put them up pre-recorded, it's easier for people to watch. So I don't know which way I'll do it, but I will do one showing that with the different glass pens, because I have a couple of paintings that are the background's done like this, that are about ready to be something done to them. So I will definitely, I don't have a problem at all. Yeah, when they raised the rates, when Dollar Tree raised their rate to $1.25, that was last year or the year before, last year maybe. I refused to go until Easter. Easter was in April last year, like it was this year. And I refused to go because I was so upset. It's called Dollar Tree, not $1.25 tree. So I wouldn't go. And then Easter came, and like my granddaughter loves Easter's one of her favorite holidays. She loves that. Oh, okay. Oh, you did. Thank you. Well, I'm glad. I didn't know if you'd like it or not, but I knew you were up late lots of times. Because she's in California, so it's not near as late. So I went and got the Easter Bunny stuff from them. But one of the things the Dollar Tree promised, the corporation promised when they raised their rates to $1.25, was that they would give us better quality items and a bigger variety. And they have given us both. In some ways, they did it by having that aisle that is, up to $15 or whatever. But in other ways, a lot of their $1.25 items are even much better quality now. And I can attest to that because I was a huge Dollar Tree shopper, and their art selection, their art tools and stuff are a lot better now than they were 2 years ago. So, I like that, but I do definitely have issues. I did have to give it. It was all my granddaughter's fault. And when she spends money, she loves to go to Dollar Tree to spend it because she feels like she gets more, which I don't know. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I'm turning her into a thriftaholic though. So that's good. Her mom and I like to thrift. So if I see if her mom's available, she'll go thrifting with us sometimes when it's half price. So I grew up with a mother who only bought things that were on sale and generally only bought them at TJ Maxx, um, which means they'd already left, they were already last season stuff and had left the big stores. So I learned from a very young age to not pay full price for very much. And because you get more. My mom would come out of TJ Maxx and she was a teacher, so of course we had to do, she had to do something that would teach us. And so if we'd spent $50, she'd say, okay, how many pieces did we get? And let's say we got 10. She'd say, okay, we spent $50. How much did we pay for each piece? And so we'd average them out. And so, I still do that as an adult now. I do that with my granddaughter too, who's a math whiz. So I appreciate, she's like, Grandma, you know how much it is. But yeah, so I've taught her the value of that too. But yeah, my mom, she didn't even buy my wedding dress. My wedding dress wasn't even bought full price. We bought an on sale wedding dress. Yeah, Dollar Tree's that way. Michael's is, or TJ Maxx is that way. And what is that? Tuesday morning. My mom loved Tuesday mornings. Now, back when I was younger, Tuesday mornings was only open like 4 times a year. They opened for each new season coming in, and they'd have last season stuff, and they'd open on a Tuesday morning. That's where they got their name. And so there was only one, and for a while we had to drive to Kansas City. We lived in Topeka, so it was like an hour and a half drive, and we would go to Tuesday morning. And Tuesday morning is definitely where you go if you buy things you had no idea you needed. Do you? Pam, if you guys haven't watched Made by Pam, one, she's like the best sewer I've ever seen. I'm amazed. I know how to sew. I learned in 4-H. I don't use patterns necessarily, and so I can read a pattern, I just don't use them. I just cut the fabric to what I think it should be and then sew. So I'm not the person to learn from, but Pam is an awesome sewer. But if you want to see hauls, go subscribe to Pam. It's Made by Pam, all one word. Go subscribe to her because this woman thrifts like, I don't know. Well, I think she put herself on a spending freeze, but she hauls, and man, she comes up with some awesome deals. She and Kim Veazey got me hooked on Temu. Darn those two. But Pam, for a while, she was like, okay, guys, she'll pop up on there and I'll be like, oh, what Pam get today? And she'd have a whole ton of stuff. She loves stickers though, and I have some stickers I'll have to throw. Oh, yes, that is her link. Oh, Michelle, you know what? How come you're not blue? I had no idea. There you are. Michelle is now blue. Michelle hasn't gotten into doing videos. She will one day, I bet, but she hasn't. Yes, there. You grounded yourself from thrifting. Okay. She grounded herself, and then she did 2 hauls from Temu because she had ordered them, and Temu takes, I don't know, 2 weeks to 6 weeks to get to you, and she was getting them after she grounded herself. And people were like, I thought you said you grounded yourself. But you can watch her past hauls. They're hysterical and fun to watch. And you think she's like buying crafts or whatever, and then she'll pull something out that's like for the kitchen or for the garage. And I'm like, huh? You just never know. She's hysterical. And she wears overalls. I think she calls them Pamerolls. And it is the cutest thing. Her overalls, she makes these overalls with great big buttons and these awesome fabrics. You need to be good. I do too. So yeah, I love a good overall. I do like. I do. So she makes those. And Pam made an awesome coat that is a backpack, and then you could open it up and wear it as a coat, and then when it gets too hot, you can turn it right back into a backpack and not have to worry about anything. Yeah, well, my dad was a Marine. He was out by the time I was around, but yes, my dad was a Marine. Once a Marine, always a Marine. I can teach you how to appropriately make. Oh, her husband's a retired Marine too. Oh, your husband is. Yeah, I knew Michelle's was. And so, uh, there's a proper way to vacuum that every Marine, I guess, learns. I don't know. And there's a proper way to tuck quarters in your bed, both of which I know. Holy crap, Pam. Yes, Pam is definitely part of a military family. My son-in-law was Navy. He discharged due to what's it called? Disability discharge or something. Actually, I think it was just an honorable discharge and now he's on disability from him. But yeah, he was in the Navy. He had asbestos. He's only like 32. He was in the Navy when he was in his early 20s, right out of high school. He had asbestos exposure. And so he got out of the Navy for that. My husband's dad was Army. He put up the telephone poles in a lot of Germany, the good side of Germany when it was broken into the two parts. He helped telephone pole that whole thing after World War II. And then he came back home and worked for AT&T. It wasn't all the different bells at that time. He worked for AT&T and he put up telephone poles across all of western Kansas and into Oklahoma. And then he got his degree. He went to night school and got his degree. Jeff's family all of them are 10 to 17 years older than him. So they were all kids. And Jeff's dad went to night school in Wichita and got his degree. And then they moved to Topeka, where Jeff was born and I was born. I wasn't born in Topeka, but that's where I was raised. I was born. My parents adopted me from a small Kansas town. And so Jeff and I lived a half mile apart. We went to the same school in kindergarten, and then he went to the Catholic school. So I didn't know him until a date introduced us after a football game. Oh, Pam, I didn't know that. He's serving away from home right now. Oh. Well, I hope he's in a safe area, at least. Probably not. Nothing's safe right now. It seems like everything's a mess. But yeah, I didn't know he was serving right now. So he's still active. Wow. Pam has a lot of kids too. Well, okay, anyone who has more than 2 kids has a lot of kids, in my opinion. So And like Michelle's raising her grandson. So Michelle has a lot of kids because she's a grandma raising her grandkid. So, Texas. Well, that could be questionable. But yeah, anyone over, because I had 2. I wanted a big family, but I got 6. You have 6? Okay, I thought you had 4, and I was saying she had a lot. She has 6. And you should see her. She is tiny too. Dang, woman. Crazy. Yeah, I wanted a big family like that. But I got sick when I had my son, and they said, no more. Which, as an adult, or like as a grown-up adult at 26, I wasn't grown up apparently. But now I'm like, I don't know how you put that many kids through high school, let alone paying for colleges. Or yeah, I know you have 4 still in school. Maybe I knew you had some that weren't in school, but I kind of thought it was 4. Oh, I'm so thankful my children are out of school. There's so much to worry about. Yeah. Yes, thank you for his service. I appreciate that. Before I retired permanently from working in social services, I did a year with AmeriCorps, which is like Peace Corps on American soil. So you have to do a year stint. And I worked with the military. I worked with Soldiers Angels here in Denver and set up an outpost for them here. They didn't have one previously. And I set up a monthly food drive or food service for food pantry for veterans and their families. So it serves between 220 and 250 military families here in the Denver metro area every month. And I set that up in 2016, right? Yeah, my dad died. Yeah. So 2016 and 2017 is when I set that up. And it's still going today, run by volunteers. So I'm always I'm always proud of that because Denver's very expensive to live in, and so the vets definitely need help with that. So yeah, I don't know how raising kids today is hard. I thought it was hard back when Jeffrey was little and we were just dealing with getting cell phones, when he was in 4th, 5th, 6th grade, to now when there's smartphones and there's TikTok and Snapchat and everything else. Your bonus daughter. Yeah. Yeah. My daughter's best, well, she had a couple best friends, but one of them I called my bonus daughter for a long time. She went to the military. So, well, I'm yawning, so I'm off. Oh, I know they don't need all that. 6 kids at home. I couldn't even imagine, Pam. I don't know how you're sane. No wonder you thrift. That's the only thing to keep me sane. So I'm going to go sit out and finish my drink for the night and see if there's anybody still on the YouTubey, the booby tubey, and watch that and then go to bed. So, my granddaughter did get a phone. Was she 8? She may have been 9. But it was to call home. Now she uses it for everything, but originally she just used it to call home. So I hope to see y'all around the YouTube, and I am having an auction Thursday morning, and I've already put out the thumbnail for that if you're interested. I'll have jewelry, but I'll have other things, and I have a whole collection of Pyrex that I no longer desire to have, so I will be occasionally selling off Pyrex pieces. And I have Pyrex pieces from the day they opened until the day they reopened and until now. Talk to y'all later. Have a great night, and thanks for stopping by. I appreciate all your support.